Henry Brichelle from Yahoo Sports. Greg, I think you talked last month about wanting to be confident, needing to be confident that you guys can contend or beat the elite of international soccer heading into 26. Yeah. Do you to be confident in that heading into 26? Do you feel like you have to do that over the next 3 years, especially because you didn't, outside of Mexico, beyond Mexico, you didn't really do that over the past 4 years?
Yeah, I think it's a process, and you have to take everything on board. The experience against England in the World Cup, and then Netherlands in the World Cup, and now Germany, and every opportunity we get to play the elite of international soccer, we need to learn, and we need to figure it out. And tomorrow will be another example of us getting an opportunity and seeing what we can take from that game. We know Germany's a good team, a ton of talent in their roster, and for us, it's a great opportunity.
Stephen?
Hi, Steve Goff, The Washington Post. Greg, on and off the field, where do things stand with Gio? Talks with him in rebuilding the relationship, and on the field, where he is physically and fitting back in to your system.
Well, I appreciate the question. I know that's going to be on people's mind. What I'd say is that we're moving forward. I'm not really really want to talk too much about the past. I think it's about talking about the future. And Gio's done a great job this week in training. He looks really sharp, really strong. You can see his quality. And for us, it's about how do we build him up? Same way we have other players in the squad, and to get the most out of him, for him to help the team the most, and for him to return to Dortmund in really good shape to keep pushing forward.
Jeff?
Jeff Carlisle with ESPN. Greg, in terms of your midfield, not only like where Gio is going to be deployed, but obviously you're without Tyler Adams, so how does that impact your decision-making in terms of who plays where?
Yeah, I mean, it's just something to consider, right? Whether Gio starts as a winger, whether we play him as a central midfielder, whether we play him in a 4-3-3, attacking midfielder, a lot of things to consider. For us, it's interesting just to see over these next 3 years how these roles can develop, how other guys can potentially step up. Johnny Cardoza, Leonard Maloney in camp. Luca De La Torre. So we have options, and it's just about how do we find the right mix to be most effective in the way we want to play.
Straight back to your right.
Amelie Stiefert at ZDF German Television. This will be the first match of Julian Nagelsmann. How do you think will it affect the game?
Yeah, it's I remember my first match as an international manager, and thankfully I had a month to prepare for it, and he's had 3 days. So I know he's a tactically very astute coach. And for us, it's interesting to see what he's going to do and how he's going to, interpret the talent that he has into a formation. But my guess is it will be, something that they've done before. There will be some familiarity to what they're doing on the field.
Hi, Greg. Mike Swanek. Can you just touch on who is impressing you in camp this week? What are you working on, and what are you hoping to see from the game tomorrow?
I don't want to dismiss the question, but what I'd say is honestly, everybody has. It's been a really, really strong training camp from the whole group. Really good focus, really good determination. The guys have been working really hard, so it's been really fun to see. And again, we've challenged them with a number of things on the field, and they've been responding to it. So that's been great to see.
Paul, go ahead. Yep. Sorry.
What do you want to learn from the game tomorrow?
To piggyback on Henry's question, it's really about how do we keep learning? How do we keep taking every experience we have and moving forward with it? Because, eventually we're going to have to learn how to beat the top teams. That's going to have to happen if we're going to be successful at the World Cup, and that is something we're focused on.
Paul, to your right.
Paul Tenorio from The Athletic. Greg, you've talked a little bit about Flo Balogun having a different type of skill set and learning to play with him. What types of things does he do up top that maybe change the way you think about approaching the final third or attacking teams? What can he do to kind of help make things more efficient in the final third?
Yeah, I remember, in Columbus days, we would have our forward always on the weak side center back, always looking to run behind the back line. And, Balo really has a talent for running behind the back line. It's something that we need to just be on the same page with him, really identifying his runs, and then trying to get him the ball, because it is, when you see the goals he's scoring in France, and most of them are from, you know, a quick move behind the back line, a quick shot in and around the penalty box.
Michele.
Michele Giannone from Turin. Hi, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Michele.
You're saying, like, the result, learning how to win these games. Your players have talked about during the week how important it is to beat Germany, for example. But for you as a coach, when you talk to them, where's the line between the result mattering and what you want to see or what you want to learn from the game? Like, how important is the result tomorrow?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because we want to get a result in the match. There's no question about it. That's why we play this game. We play these games to win. And so that's what we're going to be focused on. I think big picture-wise, for the coaching staff, it's also about the process and how we go about doing it and how, for us, it's really important that we play our game and win and not just win the game. So there's going to be a lot of interesting dynamics happening in the game tomorrow.
Jonathan?
Thanks, Mike. Greg, Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer. You said a couple minutes ago, whether Gio starts on the wing or whether he starts in central midfield. I have to ask, does that mean he starts in the sense of not only is he going to start, of course, but does he have a starter's minutes in him with his fitness status, and how do you see that part of it playing out with however many substitutions you're going to have tomorrow and so on?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're discussing, and we're balancing all that. Our goal, and I said it before camp, is that he leaves this camp in a good spot to go continue his development at Dortmund, and that's really important for us. We're aware of his loading in these last months. We're aware of his game time in these last months, and for us, it's similar to Ballo, how we want to put him in a good position when he goes back, that he can get on the field and make an impact for Dortmund.
Mike.
Hi, Greg. You spent a lot of your career in Germany, where you fit in quite well, had a good run there. What was about the game that you enjoyed, or that you thought while you excelled there? And then when you look back on that time and when you played against Germany, how the soccer there has evolved? Does the team play different type of soccer than when you were there?
Yeah, it has evolved. I mean, that's the thing about Germany. They evolved their game. I think when I first got to Germany, it was 3-5-2, sweep libero, man decking all over, following guys all over the place, and that evolved into a back four system, more zonal. You see now it's a lot of teams play five in the back in Germany. But I think also the philosophies changed. When Pep came into Bayern Munich, then I think there's been a lot of focus on ball possession. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think that they can be more direct. They can take advantage of crosses more. They can use, normally Germany has great strikers, and that's a strength of theirs. And taking advantage of runs in the penalty box, shots from in and around the box is something Germans are always good at. So, to me, the German identity, this fast-paced game, I think can keep developing, because that's a real strength of German athletes. And for me personally, I love being in Germany because of the organization, the structure in Germany. The stadiums were always full, great fan support. The soccer was attractive, and a really good balance between my previous stations in Holland and England.
Jake, to your left.
Hi, Jake Fender, Daily Mail.
Hey, Jake.
It's interesting that you bring up the striker point, because that's going to be my question. Germany's had a little bit of trouble over the past couple of years developing a striker that's good enough to replace Miroslav Klose. The only person that they brought in as a true striker this cycle is Niklas Füllkrug. They've had before players like Florian Wirtz up top, central attacking midfielders essentially playing in that top striking role. Is there anything that you're doing specifically to address that format going, not format, but just that the way those players are deployed going forward, and how have you been trying to scheme a way to tackle that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a plan how to defend them, and but to me, the boy from Dortmund, Füllkrug, he's done a good job, and to me, he's a really interesting profile. You see how he comes from Bremen, makes the step up to the national team, scores in the World Cup, moves to Dortmund, still scoring goals. He's I think an interesting profile. good in and around the penalty box, good with his head, and if he plays tomorrow, I think he's going to be a good test for our center backs.
Jerry, to your right.
Greg, you just talked about the short time your counterpart has had with the team.
Yeah.
You haven't had a whole heck of a lot of time with the team since coming back either.
Mm-hmm.
And playing a team like Germany this early on with all these friendlies, hopefully still to go before the World Cup, would you rather have seen, or would you hope to play maybe Germany again more closer to the time that your team is more together and you've been with them longer?
I think that the time I was away, you can see the continuity in the squad. You can see the continuity in the playing style. Now being back, we picked up right where we left off. So we feel good about where we are. But having said that, for us, any opportunity we get to play teams like this, we want to do it. And it's not about being afraid of the result, being afraid of competing. It's about embracing these moments. And from now until 2026 World Cup, if we could play, Germany 5 times, Italy, Brazil, Argentina, we would do it, because that's what's going to really strengthen this group.
Sanjay.
Two-part question, Greg. First part, changing soccer in America forever. What does that look like to you on and off the field? On the field, is it just about a deep run in 2026, or are there other things like the Olympics, Copa America, even friendlies like this? And then off the field, BJ had mentioned people naming their kids after Christian and Weston when it's all said and done. What does that look like to you in terms of legacy? And then the second part, left back, Christopher Lund, he's come in and been with the senior group. Do you see him as necessarily ahead of some of the younger left backs like Wiley and Tolkien? Is there anything to do with Olympic eligibility with him being with this group? Where do you see him fitting in that left back competition? Thanks.
Yeah, I think there's a process of getting guys involved, and we think Caleb Wiley, John Tolkien are really good players, and we're going to see how they develop over these next couple of years. Regarding the first part of the question, for us, it's not necessarily about creating individual legacies or anything like that. It's more about, I think, the public getting to know who our players are and how special they are as people, and how good human beings they are, and really falling in love with that side of it. When you see actions, an example would be after the Iran game, how our guys are consoling the Iranians, even though we're so excited to go through, it's still the empathy to go to a competitor and pick them up and say, well fought battle. So I think that's what we're talking about off the field, really getting the public to understand what this group is made of and our team culture. On the field, it's about us preparing the group, using all these experiences that you mentioned, leading into the World Cup to have a strong performance in the World Cup. We all saw what 1994 World Cup did for soccer, and if you could imagine if we can amplify that by going more rounds and really getting the public behind us and really creating this thirst for soccer in all the youth around the country.
In the back.
Stratton Stave, UConn Daily Campus. This is something of a homecoming game for Matt Turner. Is he extra excited? Does he have a lot of people coming to the game?
I don't know his ticket count, but I'm sure he has a number of people coming. He's not too far away from here. He went to school in the state, so I imagine he's excited. His family's excited to see him play.